there might be a question in here, I'm not certain yet, but maybe there's just a response. But I guess I want to express that I'm deeply grateful for your giving light to the starkness and the rawness of that existential aloneness, that without an answer, without some sort of easy resolution to it. It's so seductive to bring oneself to that brink and then answer with awareness, or answer with love, or answer with any of the things that I found immensely valuable to see how readily there it is in all the other talks from this weekend. But giving space for that, the dark night, the reason why I find it why I'm so grateful for that is because in my own experience, there's such a sense of shame about feeling that. Like, what is so deeply wrong with me that I feel, and I've felt that way since I've been aware, and I forayed into existential philosophy for a long time, didn't really find relief there, but it actually met that feeling better than spirituality in my experience, because it let it be there nakedly. And so I really appreciate giving space for that. And tears were coming up because I realized the shame that I carry around. That, am I allowed to say this in any group, any place? And there's just something so core about that. So I'm very grateful for that. And I don't know if there's anything you want to comment.
Thank you.
That wanted to come out.
Thank you for bringing that up. That shame can come up just in the feeling of this existential aloneness. Again, that's part of that conglomerate of only me, only I feel this abandonment, this terror, this aloneness. Therefore, there must be something wrong with me. Everyone else is okay. They seem to be okay. They just But only me is feeling this. So to open to that in the way that you have, to touch that, and to not know whether it is actually only you, to say, okay, I feel this strongly, but I don't know. And this meeting of that existential core wound, it's like a koan. Yeah, that's why it's a falling into the abyss. You can't fall into the abyss and know where you're going to land.
Yeah, right.
See, that's the beauty and the horror of the spiritual dimension, if we want to call it that. Yeah, it's really an existential dimension. Who am I? What does it mean? Where are we? Is that as soon as you provide an answer to that, whether it's through some understanding, whether it's through some teaching, whether it's through some belief system, or whether it's through your imagination of where it's going to take you, you have brought a safety net with you to the very thing that does not need a safety net, that must not have a safety net. Otherwise it can't be transformative. There's no transformation in it. There's no alchemical metamorphosis that happens in that. There's no revolution of consciousness in that, out of the time-space located self, if we believe there's a safety net. The safety net means, well, if I surrender to this, then I'll wake up. If I surrender to this, then I'll be okay. No safety net. That's why it's a koan. It's a koan. Yeah, it's a question without an answer, and you are required or compelled, if it compels you. Yeah, like Ajahn Shanti said, it's not something that you force. Yeah, many people come to me and they hear about my experience, which I don't often speak about because I find it then sets out a template. Yeah, I actually don't speak about it. This is a rare occasion. Yeah, because I don't want them to have an idea of how it is, and they say, I want what you have. If I fall into the abyss, show me how, then I'll be free. It doesn't work that way. In some ways, I was lucky that I didn't have that understanding. I didn't have that spiritual path laid out to me. So it really was an unknown, totally unknown. And in that unknownness, such a terror, and yet such a compulsion to fall into it, to give myself to it, even if it meant the end of me and everything that I know as this and my life. It's like a love affair. That abyss must be like a love affair. It must pull you and pull you and pull you, and you go screaming to the edge, and the ego goes, no, what about me? What about me? My life is going to collapse, and so on. But you at the core of you that is love, it's just drawn to it, because it's love meeting love. So even these words, they're going to cloud things for you. Don't let these words be obscurations. It's actually better not to say anything. I sometimes just want to stop speaking, because whatever is said becomes something that the mind then grasps onto and wants to do it that way, wants to follow that path and wants that certainty. All I know is that real freedom is living from the unknown. Whenever I think I know something, how life is, how spirituality is, how this is or that is, I give it up. I give it up. I give it up. In fact, I no longer have to give it up. It sort of gives up itself, because it's like a pollutant. Yeah, knowing in that level is like a pollutant. It pollutes the clear light of consciousness. So living from the unknown, and believe me, it doesn't make you more stupid, it makes you more intelligent. Because you are moved by something greater than the small me. You are moved by the impulse of creation. And then miracles happen. Infinite possibilities. And sometimes they're challenging, and sometimes it's difficult, and sometimes it's shaky, and sometimes it's uncertain, and sometimes it's turbulent, and sometimes it touches on some old memory of some old wound. But so what? So what? Really? These are just waves, ripples on the ocean of consciousness. The ocean cannot be touched. The ocean is just returning to the ocean.